Hello? Hold on a minute. Hello, hello. How are you guys all doing? Yeah, so I got a bit of stuff to talk about. Um, Greener. Um, but yeah, so, I guess first things first. We've done it. We were lucky enough to get pulled out of the raffle. One of the 50 people who are lucky enough to closed alpha test, Geogen. And good news, I have pretty much definitely been confirmed that I'm able to stream it, so expect that. As in the chat earlier today, somebody was asking if we're allowed to share, where is it? Feel free to post content, just don't post the build itself. So, I'd assume it's all allowed. So, it should be fine. If not, I'll take this. If this stream goes down, whether now while I'm streaming this, not, it'll be because I've probably been informed not to stream it. But from what I understand, they say just I cannot post the build, which makes sense to me. I mean, it's closed alpha testing, but posting content of it seems fine, from what I understand. So, send me the build. I'm not going to send you the build. To be honest, high chances you'll get into the next alpha test anyway. As there don't seem to be too many other people. If they do another 100, I mean another 50, you'd almost definitely, because there was only 75 applicants or something. They were capable. So 50 in now, even if there's another 15, they'll still be fine. Yeah, so what else? So I guess I'll be trying out some Geogen. I'm gonna say it how it is, okay? I'm gonna keep it real. I was talking to Ruben about this a bit earlier today. My first thoughts on Geogen is it's interesting, but I struggle to... it's a bit hard to give, like... I don't know. Thoughts are a tricky one because it's still an alpha, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And then again, what you generally want to be perceived as, like, this is Geogen would be the 1.0 build, right? Which is nowhere near. Like, the build's not even, like, full-on publicly out, right? So, it's a bit hard to judge that sort of stuff in the sense of, like, you know, first builds of Imogen were very awesome, but they are nowhere near, like, anywhere near as good as, or capable as Imogen 1.0, and Imogen 1.0 is generally the full release. So, yeah. So I think, take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt, and I also take my opinions with a grain of salt, in the regard of what is now is not indicative of um, public testing, public alpha testing, which is also not indicative of 1.0 release. So I would say reserve opinions too strong for the 1.0. So before I go and say, I do not buy this, or buy this, or, you know, stuff like that. Like, if it interests you, buy it, right? If it's within your budget, buy it. You know what I mean? And I can recommend it, I can disrecommend it, but I wouldn't be able to, like, give a definite answer of whether it's worth it, in regards to, like, in general, as opposed to what the 1.0 is. Just simply because it's still, you know, not indicative of what it's going to fully be. And I mean, you can say, yeah, but things are always constantly updating and evolving. Yeah, that's true, but I don't like to... If something's still in testing and it's still in early access, I don't want to, you know, give my hard set, this is shit. And there's no chance it's going to be good. So yeah. I guess my first thoughts, without going too much into my thoughts of after using it, would be, it seems interesting. Do I think it's going to be able to compete with World Creator? So you've got, I think, the 4 from, okay, technically 5. Play a game. Sorry, mate, I'll be playing a game later in stream. Do you mind not spamming, or else I'm going to... Okay. You write one more time and I'm going to fucking report you for spamming. So, please don't, or I'll just chat ban you. Or I'll probably get Ruben to do that, actually, if he was able to. Anyway, so yeah. Sorry. So yeah, you've got, going into it without getting too much into it, what the fuck indeed. You've got World Creator. I own that software. I've used it before on stream and stuff. It's pretty good. Pretty capable, pretty competent. I would say in terms of ease, what I would recommend in terms of, you know, you're jumping into a software, you want the easiest thing to get a good looking result out of. You want a lot of creative liberty and freedom over the, you know, what you're going to be making. I would say World Creator is your number one. You can make insanely large terrains, as I've shown however many streams ago. You've got pretty much full free reign over that, as in terms of sculpting, and, you know, you can physically draw on the terrain and that will customize, you know, whether it's up or down, or you can use more polygonal, you know, sculpting techniques, such as, you know, it's just a subdivided mesh and you can pull up and down. In Engine, by the way, not in like another DCC tool like Blender. So, that one's really good, and I highly recommend that, but it is quite expensive. And there are things that I, you know, argue could definitely be improved. So, I don't know. World Creator's a tricky one. It's old, but, yeah, Ruben, can you please time him out? Or, I don't know what tools you have access to. I'm sorry, mate, but you can't keep saying play a game. I've already stated I'm not going to be playing a game for a while, and the longer... You have no sound on, by the way. I'm in school lesson. Okay. Because, really, yeah. Got other shit to be doing, okay? I play games every other time if you want to. Indeed. Prior streams. I mean, I'm only 12 minutes into this. It's common ground. that I'm always like 30 minutes into thing. Oh, there we go. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so let's trying everything. Oh boy. Yeah. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought. The thing is, the more people spam, this is the thing that people don't understand. The more you spam, the more brain cells I have to put into going, what the fuck are they talking about? Which makes me go on more fucking tangents, so it takes it longer for me to do what they fucking want. It's very stupid. Regardless. So yeah, World Creator's good, guys. Good. I've already been through a lot of this in a prior video, I think. You've got Geogen, you've got World Machine, which is like your main 4 ones that you'll use. And you got Houdini, which is arguably the most capable and competent one, but it's not a terrain generation software really. So hit or miss whether you include that. Anyway, these are all very old, not very old, but relatively old. World Creators and Gaia are probably the 2 newest ones. There are other ones, but those are the 4 most popular ones anyway. Whereas, I mean, World Creator's gone through quite a lot of stages, and so is Gaia. Gaia's getting their 2.0, so I think they're the latest ones. But yeah, it's a bit hard to come into the competition this late when everybody's this far progressed, I guess you could say. But I think it's interesting. How do I explain it? Jenga affects the creators. I think are just trying to create similar to what Houdini's doing, where they're not focusing and not making the best software for each individual thing, but they're trying to create the best niche. In a sense, how do I explain it? How many real-time, flame and volumetric softwares are there? Not many. So, and they have the best one, that by far. They have one of the best ones in general, let alone for the fact that it's real time. Really good. Liquidgen will be coming out soon, maybe next year, I think. Early next year. And that's going to be fucking real time, amazing, awesome. Geogen, I would like to say is real time, but I think the real thing to say here is it's not real time yet. It's for the most part real time, but there are aspects of it that it is. I like I say, don't take everything now as completely indicative. They're doing patches and shit before the actual alpha public release, which is going to speed things up. I've spoken to them a little bit. Well, not spoken, but I've spoken to them a little bit. But I've been listening to a lot about what they're saying in a lot of the private channels. So this isn't really private information. Of course, they're going to be fucking, patching and updating shit prior to fucking public release. I think if they weren't, that would be worrisome, especially as they're getting alpha testing. You would hope with alpha testing there is going to be fixes and patches. So yeah, don't worry about any of this being too private, because I'm not going to say anything that is like secret, which I don't think there is anything secretive anyway, but regardless. So I guess let's just get into it. And I'll keep talking, but I might as well keep it interesting. Let me just fucking open whatever. It doesn't open anything directly. I don't know if that's a bug with the thing. Basically, there is no, like, my Geogen doesn't come up for me. I don't know if it's just the way that they've made it, or it will be coming up later, but regardless, it doesn't, so I just set it to roll them to launch. First things first, Getting into the, it's yeah. Oh, one thing I did want to mention: my computer almost bricked itself on my today. That was actually worrisome. So, yeah, that was interesting. It fucking died, and then I couldn't open my again. I was working on a project, and then fuck, dude, I was not working on the project, and Ruben saw me dying inside. So yeah, everything you see here, don't take it completely indicative of what release is going to be like. And I hope that I don't go too much into anything that, that Jenga doesn't feel too happy with. But regardless, from what I understand, I can stream this. So, first things first, some of this is the new Embergen 2.0 framework. So we are getting a bit of extra stuff that is quite interesting. So I think there are a couple extras that I think we can be expecting for future things. Now I'm going to tell you my thoughts and concerns and queries with the software as well. But first things first, I do want to just note some new things. Slightly hidden by my camera. If I bring it up a bit like that, you'll be able to see. We're now able to see what we're viewing, which is a necessity, okay? Because when you're opening massive files, I mean, this one's pretty big. I was working on this, but I didn't save any changes. You're kind of wanting to know where everything is. So, that's going to be helpful. This aspect up here, which is interesting, so you can drag it. You cannot move it from what I understand. Be interesting if you can move it, but potentially there's a way. So all this sort of stuff that you don't really... Is it 2D? The output. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Ah. There's a couple of things that a couple of us are going, this would be cool if you added in, yada, yada, yada. So, I guess... What do I think about the software so far? I'll show you why it does need some performance updates. Like, I mean, this is 4 meters per pixel at 4K. This is Raymarching Ultra, but even at low, it's still not great. We're currently running 30 now. I'm streaming, so this isn't great. But shoving it onto, path tracing always will take a hit. And yeah, as you can see, we lose about half. There's path tracing low, let alone other shit. So I'm not gonna kill shit too much. I'm not gonna do it, but dropping this to, I'll drop it, but you'll see why this ill has its own limits. So we can see we're building up the nodes here. Train input. What is that? Assure. Yes, I heard a lot of these sorts of nodes are fucking very slow. As you can see, this is taking hot minutes. Some things are very fast, but a lot of these filter nodes, from what I understand, so noted by the light blue color, just take forever in comparison to a lot of other stuff. So hopefully within time, I think they are working on that, but that's kind of what we're wanting. So that, I mean, looks better, and 2x2 isn't ideal. You'd want to be probably going a bit higher again, but yeah, ignore the shadows because they're rematching on low. So it's pretty good, but there are definitely some performance hitches that could be improved. But I just want to go through some stuff. Yeah, so I guess, what are my first thoughts? I should probably state before going too much into this. I think it's extremely good in terms of what it could be. I don't know. It's hard to say because it depends entirely on where they want to, I guess, direct themselves. And where the program itself, I guess, goes. At the moment, do I think it's very good for realistic terrains. I think it can, but do I think it's good for realistic terrains? No, not at all. And this is not meant to. Don't take this as me, saying anything bad about Django Fix or Geogen, but take this as what its current standpoint is in comparison to other paid software similar. So, do I think in the future? I am certain it will get very good and be refined a lot, as there are some aspects that are quite realistic, but a lot of it is not too realistic. This man is a simp for Django. This is 100% true. I'm no Django simp. So, I do like Django though. As you can see, you're never having overly warped terrain, and this is a bit stylized. Maybe they're going for stylized, but from what I've tried and played around with, you can get realistic stuff. It's just quite tricky. This is something. I've only really worked on one thing that isn't like completely made by myself, in the sense of I haven't done too much as it. Like, I've done a little bit of changing things up to kind of give a different result. I mean, let's see if I can find something. Let's see what we've got. This. Here? So that was playing around with, I think, that one, and then I've just changed some of the stuff to it. It's nothing too fancy. If I went on path tracing highest, probably would have been better, but this was during class break, I think, so I kind of wasn't taking it too seriously. This looks pretty good. I mean, it's obviously not perfect. You can obviously tell that it's quite low res. You run into the issue of you are just moving the camera extremely close to the terrain, but also if I tried dropping it anymore, my computer would shit itself, as it was already running at 12 FPS. And then I was working on some other stuff that I don't know if I... Oh yeah, I did sort of save it. I'm not gonna share it there though. Should be it. This was me showing off a bug, but you can sort of see where I was getting at with this. Oh, I don't know. I was showing off a bug, which I think is a bug, but there was a terrain. That wasn't anything changed on the terrain itself. That was me playing with the cloud system on this one. So as you can see, I think in terms of clouds, it's probably the best from what I've played with. I'll run you through what kind of shit you really get with that. Once again, I can do it on this one. Don't save. This one's quite a lot going on. This is probably the biggest issue that I have with the software at the moment. There are so many fucking nodes. Like, if you treat it as a substance design, which they are sort of going by, it's good. It's about, what you'd expect. But if you look at it at other terrain software like Gaia and World Creator, it's kind of, there's a lot that could be fine-tuned. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, I'll sort of show you what I mean. Gaia is probably the best example I can give here, as it's node-based, but it's not. Here's the thing, even with something like this, which I didn't make this completely by myself, so I was following a tutorial, but in terms of the terrain itself, it is quite past it. Loading. Now this is mostly loads all that on CPU from what I understand, so I'm surprised it does go that fast. Can I just delete that? Yes. This is the terrain itself. I mean, if we're looking in comparison, there is a little bit of stuff, but I mean, going into it, it's just a mountain node, fractal terraces node, ridge node, combine node, aperture, shatter, rugged, thermal shaper, erosion, crumble, rivers, flow. Now, here's me stuck into mask. This is the first mask. I could argue these can be included with the mask because this is like changing the mask. These three here are changing the mask. This is the mask originally. Then it's just more combining of shit. If it was like this, that's another mask. That's not a mask. That's a choke point where I can send it to the 2D. But and then yeah, there are a lot of masks here, but the masks are very reusable, and I prefer the way it works here. So one thing that it's missing so far, and I don't know if they're going to be adding it, but blend. I need to go through how the fuck they do this shit, because I cannot figure out. Like, they have a trillion different fucking things here. This is gonna be just kind of tedious if you want to be getting good looking shit, and it's gonna be fucking, if you're gonna have to fucking play around with it that much, that's gonna be a bit annoying. But where are we gonna be going? Oh, color adjustment's interesting. Guessing these are the trees here. Like, you just got so many. Oh yeah, I did not know that. So you can do colors into colors. Maybe that's what you'd... Maybe I've been coloring things wrong, to be honest. The one thing that I do struggle with all this stuff is it's all very... This is the thing, terrain software is always a bit different, as is all software. I do find that world created to Gaia is a lot more simple compared to this to that. But I mean, okay. So the way that I would do these before, right, is I would go colorize, and then you'd usually do in Gaia a combine node. So the example you could do there is color mix, then just shove another colorize, and then take it. You probably don't need that actually, no. And then you'd go this, and then yada yada. You'd combine this. This is okay. I'll run over. Then you run into the issue of like there's no fucking blend. So the closest you can get is like sometimes difference works, depending on some. I don't know. It really depends on if you're going black and white, then difference is the one. Otherwise, you kind of run into what's going to be working for you. Maybe screen does. Does screen work the way you want it to? Maybe, maybe not. But if it's meant to be like this... One thing I wish is you could just auto fucking... See, here's my issue. What? So... This is fine as... I don't know why it's so blue though. Is that just the case? I didn't change anything and for some reason it's just... Oh, output. There we go. One thing they need to do is change this to be toggleable. At the moment, so you click once and you view like it's like pinning in Gaia, but I'll do that. And I wish you could auto, so if I'm dropping a new node in, right? The colorize, I wish you could just drop it in there, or drop it in there, or drop it in there, right? And it auto connects the outputs, but you can't do that, so it's not as refined. I mean, would you have to go? Let's see. Like, I just want to figure some of this stuff out. It's so why should it invert? Because an invert would be exactly what I'd need, but maybe do gradient mask. And mask source could be cavity. Which I believe is doing fucking nothing. Ah, because I don't have a gradient. So if I pop it into green, then into, blue. Contrast doesn't seem to be doing anything. But this is just simply not working as intended from... I mean... What the fuck? Does this even work? Ah, fuck me, I need a height map. There we go. Jesus, I'm like, is this thing useless? Why is it not working? I need to input the height map into it so it can get the cavity. I'm like, there is no shot this is not working at all. Here we go. Jeez. Then here we go. Now you can get some like interesting. See, here's my thing. How would you combine these separately and have one aspect of it? Unless I set this to be single color, mask that, be right back. All good. You have a good one, Chief. See you when you get back. Mask occlusion. Sort of works. It works opposite, I see. So, in theory, if I get this to be pink, that works that. Okay, I don't know, we're just trying to work this shit out, you know what I mean? Guessing that's just for blending. That's gonna be completely, that's gonna be sort of blended, and that's gonna be interesting. So if I were to go and just try to do the peaks white, for example. Oops. Coarse details of like that. Contrast. Fine with that. How do you customize that? It's high. Filter width. And that's about as high as you're gonna get, but that kind of about that. Let's do anything. Grab the height into this as well. To be honest, I feel like you wouldn't use a fucking cavity for that. Okay. That did some interesting shit, but... Oh, I'm gonna keep that actually. That worked well. Why is it so... lack of rough, though? Interesting. Ooh. Don't know how I feel about that. So I guess, you know... Hey, Ezreal, how you doing, my dudes? There we go. That's how we can get more of it. Unless that's literally... We're just testing out some alpha testing some software, and we are not liking the node that we're working with. Oh, unless you shove it to max, but then why is it not doing that? Dropping parts to the top. Yeah, how you doing, Chief? Contrast. Fine. One meter's fine. Interesting. I mean, from here, you just unmask that, and this could be like a nice. Ignore my shitty color schemes. It's just so I know what the fuck I'm got, you know, get in here. That's interesting. Where the fuck's the black coming from? Or is the black... Because from what I understand, the black is... Ah. I get it. Now the black is... How you doing, Fezrel, there? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, sorry. Feel free to let me know if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Let me turn all this quality up. And there you go, you can sort of... Hey... Oh my... Roll fail, how's it going, my dude? I mean, you can sort of get something going there. This just seems like it's going to be quite the... I mean, the color gradient of like a lighter and then maybe a darker color gradient showing a noise. And I shouldn't need any other masks for this. Seed, increase the scale, decrease the scale. Maybe this isn't entirely what we're going to go by though. These are quite different though. Oh, just briefly remove that. Does this do anything? I've seen this do stuff, but... There we go. You can get a bit of this going here. If I was working a bit lower than this, like 0.25, I'd be getting a bit better result here. Hello? Interesting. It gives you pretty good looking. I mean, it's not great, but like... That gives you a bit of detail from afar. But all the warping and everything is so... Gives you interesting shapes, but I don't believe they're particularly realistic. Especially all on the ground, you see all that. I don't think that does anything, to be honest. Berlin, Voronoi. That's pretty sick. I know somebody in the server who would really like that. Just a triangulate. Just a triangulate looks pretty fucking solid. You're not going too ham with that. Let's go hide that away. Sunwalker. You're getting some pretty good looking results actually. Just default isn't great. $2K by 2K. Go down to 0.25 and you're getting some pretty nice. Let me file. Save as. Mountain range test. Well, Pazra, since you're here, I think you're the only one here. Maybe unless Raphael is here. Check this out. What do you think? I'm gonna show you something. Just gotta wait for the the program to load. It takes a minute. Here we go. I don't know if you've ever seen or played Astroneer, but this is for anybody who's watching, to be honest, as well. I've been working on making a character, not for Astroneer, but a character based, not based, it is like, well, it is based upon it, but it pretty much is just an Astroneer character. I've pretty much gotten, I don't know what character it is. I found a reference modeling sheet and I've just been really going off of that. It looks similar to that, really. I guess. You'll see. Anyway, so I've just been making my own one, going off some references some guys made, which I'll obviously reference in the final thing, but this is my character that we've been going with. Pretty similar. I've pretty much gone for that kind of build design. I'm going to be changing some stuff up, but for the most part, it's pretty similar with a couple creative liberties. Now, obviously, things aren't looking overly smooth, and there's some, you know, just graphical issues, but that's kind of locked in because, let me hide those. You're kind of running into the issue of, we're given 3,000 tries, which is pretty low, and this is my first real character that I've built. I've done characters, we do not talk about them. So this is mine. Astronaut, doing pretty good. I'm just working on a bit of fine-tuning detail, but as I'm down to, realistically, a bit under 300 tries, the amount that I can add is pretty limited. But that was partly just my, you know, me deciding, she'll be right. So I've added a couple edge loops that I could effectively remove. Like, this doesn't really add anything to it. It's just to make that not be like one really long thing. You try to keep all your edge loops being these green lines, to be relatively similar. So in terms of base body length, base body armor, I guess you're generally sticking relatively straightforward with that. I added this edge loop just to build these a little bit better so it's not as harsh. I don't think it really does anything. Huh. Oh, that's ironic. I could remove it if I wanted to. Oh, I thought it was doing more. It does do a little bit in terms of reducing that issue. There's a bit of an issue back there, but there's some other stuff. Some of the graphical issues only because I want to make it easy for riggers. So like we've got elbows, we've got knees, a bit of the toe action going on there. So if I remove that, it would look better, but then when you're rigging it, it's gonna look a bit weird. Trying to figure out stuff. So I just decided to make it easy for them. But this region's not great, to be honest. Don't know what's going on there. Display. Reverse. Guess that just wants to be a bit silly goofy. I understand now. I went like that, which arguably is technically more meant to be, or like be more accurate. Edge, split soften. Yeah, that's a bit better shading. I mean. Anyway, this is my character, looking pretty good. I hope you guys mostly agree. I added an aerial and shit. I gave it a bit of a little whoop, which was surprisingly annoying to add. More annoying than I was imagining or planning, I guess. I don't know. I think I might do. I'm just gonna like probably. I'm not gonna do too much with it now. Spread those out a little bit. Just a little bit close. I'll save that though. Anyway, that's that. Oh yeah, I did get some new games which I haven't really gone over. I got the Bloodline, which looks really cool. It's kind of like Scram. I'll show it later tonight. And then I got Cloudpunk, which is surprisingly. Oh yeah. Don't know why that isn't coming up. As Cloudpunk was second to the latest game that I've. Oh, that's why. Cloudpunk there. Cloudpunk was pretty cool. I did like it, so I saw it was on sale for $10 New Zealand, so probably like $6 US. It seems pretty good. There didn't seem to be too much to the game, but interesting regardless. And then this just looks like fucking low poly Skyrim. See how it goes. If I don't like it, I'll just refund it, but looked interesting enough regardless. What do I want to do to this, to be honest? I mean, we'll add a bit of a gradient going. Palette lock. Okay, add some chaos. Don't know what palette lock does, but terrain lock regardless. Where are we? Chaos. Right, we're looking for in these. I wonder why that these seeds get very. It's not really how seeds work, but. Oops. My. Before I do that, shove this into a... Is this running badly? Is this because of Gaia? That was because of Gaia? Interesting. Can I, before we do that, shove this into a color adjust? Desaturated a bit. Alter the vibrance a bit. Interesting. Highlights. Nuts. Saturation, shit, color correction. Nice. So it's nothing too important. Let's go fast erosion. This is taking a bit. There's a fly mode. There is a fly mode. That just makes sense to add. I'm getting a bit of buggy bug. That does exist. You know what? You don't see it. So take a minute. What will this look like? Literally nothing. Fuck, that one takes way too long. It's not working there, it'll work here. Oh, that's way too low. We can work in 0.5. I know what I'm wanting, I just know what I don't want as well. I want a bit of warpage over there, which we're getting. After. Like, I don't know. That one's a weird one, and I don't know if it's because I need to be working at 0.25. You're joking. Don't turn on warp fly mode. One thing I do want to say. So this was made by the people. This well, it's made by a couple people, but brand designer was kind of like the basis of what this came from. So as you can tell, they probably have a pretty decent planet generation tool, which they do. So you've got some pretty insane, cool looking planets here. Now, I don't believe it to be this, you know, amount of this level of stuff, but still. It's a little bit different, and maybe in the future it will. But yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good to me, to be honest. So I'm putting in, changing up. So, I mean, the way that the sun works on this is pretty cool. See if I can find it to show you guys. Or not. We saw it, there we go. So I can move it up, down, left, right, fucking center, you know what I mean? Is there a good way to focus? Don't think so. So I can move it all the way up. I can do like morning shots, whatnot. There's a bit of stuff that's still like, there's no real in-house rendering kind of shit. That's interesting. Let me test this out. Jeez. I know it fucking kills it, but I didn't realize this badly. Can add some interesting. This is pretty cool. So that's the shallow. And the best way that I can find it is... Oh, this really kills my PC. This... mask here. But here you're getting some interest. Oh, you can change the full-on color here, I'm guessing. So, green water. Oh, you get the water level. It's got a sort of archipelago sort of going. These are waves. Which I don't believe is doing anything. Oh, this is it too? Oh, golly. The only thing I would want to be trying would be that, but that's not happening, especially while streaming. Well, that's pretty cool. Whoa. That's an awesome effect. So it gives it, like, depth. You get caustics? Sick. Maybe, try U-block, dude. It doesn't, I haven't had an issue with U-block. I know the caustics is cool and all, but there's no scaling it. Seems a bit annoying. How's Geogen? It's pretty good. I'll turn off caustics just because it's... maybe we can do subtle amount, but it's not... Yeah, it could do with a bit. That's interesting. Playing with it, it's running a bit slow because it's still... this is without... I'm just playing around with some shit. We got sort of an archipelago going. It's not great, but you know what I mean. It works. And then playing with the depth of field, which I don't really see the worth in. Looks interesting, yeah. It's pretty cool though. Fog, X, Y, height. It's the one. Cloud. Let me. Density. Just don't want the coverage, is sort of what we want. So I can get a bit of density going. But it's going pretty good, Amy. Some stuff that I still want to be, you know, don't need to be constrained. There's still some stuff that I would, you know, that needs a bit of improvement with, but I mean, we got it looking not bad. I don't entirely know what I'm doing, to be honest, Chief. Was this all me? That was all me. Interesting. So this is like, I wish I could bump it up a little bit, but I went, this is gonna kill my PSA. Can we save it without these? That gives me a lot. Clouds don't do too much. It takes it down. Fog drops it down by about 1 FPS. That drops it down to like almost fucking half. And then this will drop it even worse. You got let's just go high. Bit of shadows. You got light map. I don't really know what a light map is, actually. I have an idea, but Jesus. Hell, PC. Is that still rendering? I don't think this is running too well for you guys. Capping my GPU. That's on my end. Alrighty. So it's not. You guys aren't. The path trace is as good as you're gonna get, really. I'm laggy. How about now? I think it's a bit faster now. That light map just killed it. But yeah, I'm not using all my VRAM at the moment, but we are pretty much spent, especially with OBS. Fine now. Sweet. 4 FPS. Uh-oh. It is 4 FPS. I can tell. Ah. Rendering. Please rematch. Rematching is generally the way you want to be going. But no, it looks pretty good. That's not bad. 20 is kind of playable. So yeah, they have a bit of fine tuning. This isn't many nodes and setup going, but even turning off the water and turning off the fog, it's still only, oh, it runs better actually. Like a lot better. That runs weird. Oh, there, it's just a lot worse. Not entirely sure what that is. I mean, I can always do that. That's pretty sick. It's a big as. Whatever if I. Ah, here we go. Do you have some coloring issues, which I don't know? Yeah, these are just something. So that gets introduced here. Or maybe here. Oh, it still has it. Kind of fine when you're working at this. From what I understand, their exporting doesn't work right, but export height, export. So I don't know what blend does. No. Oops. Color. Power of 2 snip. Snip to Unity. RGB. This is 8K by 8K. Smaller 2 times. Interesting. You do 16 bit. 16 bit. Do that, I guess. Let's just go downloads. How you doing, Amy? Oh, how did class go, by the way? Open. See if I don't do that, we do this. (16 by 16). It's quite high detail. We're working, but we're using 30 gigabytes of RAM. Which effectively, if for those of you who don't know, I was making this joke to you earlier today, Amy. That's where you overrun spillover, where you're not just using. I'm capping my GPU. Don't get me wrong, right? This shit's pretty much capped, right? But we overloading it, as you can see, onto the RAM. So now we're using 16 plus about fucking who knows what, 14 gigabytes of just normal RAM, I'd assume. Yeah. Which is something interesting. The issue with this is you do into that. This is by far not. I never actually touched that, to be honest. That's actually better. You could get away with that. And drop this again. I mean, I wouldn't do anything higher than this, to be honest. I just don't want to test this though. If I save that, it's gonna kill us out. Sort us out of it. Spillover, we're done. Sweet. I just want to see how this runs in terms of rendering. Oh. No shot. That was quick. Back in a bit. Want to see if I can rig this quickly. That's all good. There's the alpha though. Oh. I thought it crashed. Oh, here we go. It's two of the exact same things. Did I seriously just open up the same fucking... One thing they did not skimp out on was the exporting. That's very fast. It's the height. Which I'm just gonna have to assume is right. That is fucking half a gig. So the issue with this, as it seems, I was mainly testing this for sorry, just reading something. Okay, so from what I understand, is right. The color map doesn't entirely go. Sorry. There you go. Let's stop overloading that. Let's just test this on Blender, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, there's a bit of stuff. I was kind of surprised. This is better than what I expected I was going to be able to make out of it. It doesn't look great. I mean, I was expecting bad from it, but it's a lot more complex than Gaia. This one's do a lot of work for you, so. Let's go 2048, which is what I was working by. And then let's change the 3K. Oopsies, this isn't Maya. Then if we edit, we'll get about 100K. That should be fine. 300 tries. 300k tries should be interesting. Then hooking this up to cycles. GPU. Hooking up displacement. Open. This isn't gonna work. Oh no, this will work because I'm using that like this. Export test height. And then we do this again. And tracing set's been added. We add the strength and okay, so that's working. I don't entirely know how to get this strength perfect, so it should stay there. If I set the mid-level, it's the average there. If I set it to 20k is probably the most accurate. And so, what if I added a subdivision? Kind of want subdivision really does it like that though. Oops, that's too many, but it doesn't matter. Subdivision has the issue where it goes like that. Saying it's spaced option is just subdividing it, so go maybe 3 once more. $5 million. Assume is fine. Not really. That's not what I like going with this. To be honest. I mean, we're not going to have much but shading. So this isn't going to work because you can't export the color for whatever reason. But so give it something. Okay, we're good. That gives me something. It's not right, but it gives me something. Roughness is fucked though, but something like that, not completely. Yeah, I mean the colors aren't accurate, but it's pretty good actually. Pretty good. The other thing would be showing another still kill it, but another subdiv on it. I'm not too bothered about this. I'm not going to be saving this or anything, so. Surprised this isn't killing my PC. Well, it's crashing fucking Blender though, but. If we. Even that's still using quite a bit. It's still using a lot of GPU. So if I save that and then export that, that'll give me a bit of GPU. Maybe it's just sucking GPU. Blender's not using like any GPU. No, because I'm not. Blender's actually pretty good with it. Why did I do that? I know why I did it, to get rid of all these. If I do shade smooth, it will fix it anyway. Yeah, we'll be getting more detail. Oh shit, this is... Hello? The camera's... Yeah. Jesus. Don't know if you guys will be able to see, but the spillover is crazy. I think Blender's back though. That's why I want more RAM. Oh my, that is... Yeah. Too much while streaming, I think. Among other things. Ideally, you would shade smooth instead of that. Okay, I'm gonna delete these maps. These are fucking massive. I'm gonna leave Geogen there. I'll go to the bathroom and then I guess I'll give my thought. Oh, I never showed something, so I'll show it now, and then I'll go to the bathroom after. Discard. What else do we have? Centrate, because there was this which I was working on before. None of these should kill my PC too much. This is pretty cool. I quite like this actually. Some mountains. If I went, not mountains. These are. This is just rocks. Look, it's a simple rock, stony rock kind of shit. Little mound to break it up a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I thought this was pretty cool. I mean, in theory, I mean. Change your relative height down. Now this, I know that will be fine. Just export the mesh for this, to be honest. Go by meters. And let's say this as... Now this won't kill it because it's so much less. This was before 16k textures, this is only 2k. And it's not a 2k, it's putting as an OBJ, so it should be a lot less. Might be bigger though. See how big it is, because it's combining a lot of shit. Yeah, it's a gig. A gigabyte. This might be better. If I could open this, then this might be easier to work with. You see, it's just too big. Let's just drag and drop. I don't think it does. I swear it used to. File. OBJ. This might kill Blender again now that I think about it. It's not big by any means, but it's just a really large file. So I don't think it will kill my PC. What? I think this is just massive. Oh, that's fine. 1024 meters, so if we went 2 by 2 meters. Go. Oops. Even then that's pretty high. Let me go 0.19. I think that would be more accurate. No. 1 point. It's more accurate. That's pretty good. It's not going to have any colors, I guess. I don't think the color export is working very well. Sorry. And it just kind of works pretty good. It's still killing. Oh. Yeah, we are working with a lot of shit. A lot of tries. Sorry. I think you can do this. Oh, there's a couple things. If we go decimate. If this doesn't kill my PC. This, in theory. Shit. Do I? There's no way to. Run the algorithm. See if we can unsubdivide it a bit. This is just running through my fucking RAM. Get a little bit more. I don't think it's looking too good. Maybe I'll just try this out after stream. Or not. It's working. It's already a lot less. And once again, I reckon we could go even less than this. I reckon we can go 0.3. This won't take as long, I don't think. So halved it. 0.3 will give us about like 2 million tries. Let's go to the bathroom. Back in a minute. Yeah, I mean, that's smooth. You can almost run at point one almost, but probably wouldn't. Probably shouldn't have done that, to be honest, either. Okay, well, that answered my question regardless. Estimate works wonders. Let's close the program. Presets. What else? Is there anything I want to say? Got. Here's it. Isn't that deserty? I don't know. You got a bit of terracing going on though. Just warp. So the warp to height to. What does this do? Crease. Just adds a bit of. Oh, crease is good. That's what I was looking for before. It adds these ridge and bulged it, I guess. It's ridging. It's bulging. Mask slope. The erosion. Interesting. It's just a side. So we need these details. Slope again. What's that? Does diddly shit. Oh, slope with the blend. Oh, I get it. So it's using whatever this is, the water, to give it interesting for terracing. Sure, those things in sediment. Just adds a bit of sediment to the ground. Into water. There's a big terrace. There, jeez. Filter water and that's where it just splits up a lot. Colorize. Colorize. That and then the background mask. Interesting. Just colorizing those. Oh, where are we getting that bluey tinge from, but interesting. Filter water. A mask with another mask to another mask. But they already just bring that, jeez. Height. But I'm guessing adding green aspects here. So it's the splatter. to get this. Okay, so I'm just gonna split it for trees. Interesting. Oh, okay. So it works some sort of apparel mask. Interesting. That's pretty cool. So you get trees and shit. Minus info. One thing that there was meant to be, but you can always go. It's gonna kill my PC. Path tracing is always nice. Yeah, it's high as well. It's 30. I'd hate to say then double that. It's just because of how many fucking nodes there are. Oh my god, really? I exist so many of these filters. Don't say that. Don't say. I do like a lot of that though. That's making use of the trees. Where is this? Mask noise. Jeez, there's so many. Can you go like this? Oh. That's sick. Let me test something. If I drag this to my other one. No way, that works. There's my webcam. Okay, that's not too bad then. That's pretty good. If it was me, I would color adjust. What program is this? This is an alpha test for a program called Geogen. Not there, what can I show? By Django Fix. They've released an alpha test and I was one of the few people who got in, so that was lucky. But I would keep a lookout if it does interest you. So, world creation software made by, I don't know if you've heard of, other related software. by Geogen effects, but Geogen, probably wouldn't have heard of. Geogen's really the biggest one at the moment, but when it loads, here we go. So their main one is Geogen, but working on Geogen, which is what I'm currently alpha testing. Playing around, getting some stuff. How you doing though? If I went, that's gonna work. I don't like, because it sort of spreads a bit. Do you do this stuff for a living? That's the plan, but not as of currently. I'm a student. I just have a normal job really, but I study game development, and so this is mostly just hobby shit, really. Like, we don't get taught any of this software and stuff at my school, but it is useful for school, so yeah. Once I'm out of school, then yeah, hopefully it will be more than just a hobby, but for the time being it's a hobby, just on the side I guess thing that I do. Pretty interesting. I don't know. I like messing around with trains. I kind of do a lot of stuff that's not really in correlation to my course in general. I do lots of simulations. I use the other program, Geogen a decent, but I don't know if I can. If I don't save that, I'll see if I have anything that I can find that's pretty snazzy that I've made. I have the one that I worked on a little bit ago. Would be that's nice. I currently study animation design and plan to go more into 3D genre. That's awesome. My friend who before was in is not here at the moment, but she does 3D animation and whatnot. This is maybe killing my PC a bit. But this is a bit of the software really, and I have a much more high detail version, so as I've had to load this. Well, they've changed a bit of this actually. What the world? When did they add this? There's some more statistics. I don't recall by mvox. I'm guessing that's million voxels. But I've had to lull this and I can at least launch it. And as you can see, it pretty much caps out my VRAM, but doing some sneaky stuff. I did manage to get something a bit higher. Let's see if I can show you. Geogen, Oppenheimer. I do have a render of the full video, but in terms of some snippets, I guess these are bits of the render. So, pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job with it. It's quite high detail, so you can get some real insane detail out of this sort of stuff, but this is kind of capping out the software in my computer, which is a good computer nonetheless as well, so. But if, you know, you rendered that in, like, programs such as Blender, Maya, whatever. I don't know, Maya wouldn't really be able to render, I don't think, but something maybe even Houdini. That would look pretty insane. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, so I'm really just testing. I kind of do a lot. I think the key thing for me is I'm a 3D artist in general, so moving towards games really is my main focus. But the thing I always like about it is if you're a 3D artist, you it's always good to just be able to play around with other things. So, like, you know, can you do VFX? Can you do, you know, terrain, stuff like that? Because, you know, you can go from making, you know, just basic models, you know what I mean, to maybe making like the scene that you're on or stuff. It's quite transferable, I guess, is Pretty no real surprise. This was what I was working on earlier. I was playing around with it and I thought it was not bad. I've made some decent ones, but this one is me just trying to learn the program, really. Because it's quite, there's quite a lot to it, really. I'll see if I can, I mean, just popping up what I had before, you'll see there's a lot of node work. These are all nodes and they all do their own different things, as you can maybe see. Maybe you don't see too much of a difference in the fine tuning, really, but it's like each thing has a purpose. But oh man, so I'm just trying to figure out, you know what I mean, each node and all that sort of stuff. I hear that a lot, not gonna lie. I like the idea of being able to some sort of 3D all-rounder, even if there's a lot of work, but I need to reduce my time gaming on a given day. Oh, honestly, for me it's like I struggle with that, honestly. You know, I thoroughly enjoy playing games and stuff. Let's just say, you know, I got there was a time when it was getting a bit dangerously bad. I got like, where is it? It'll come up 2,000 hours into Warframe. But if you've ever played Warframe before, you can sort of know that that's not much for Warframe. But I don't know. It's about finding. I like playing with stuff. It's disappointing because everything's so expensive. But I like playing around with different software, and it's always that what's the word? What is it? Honeymoon phase, you know, with software. And you're like, wow, this is such an awesome software. I love working in this, and then you use it for like 3 months straight or whatever, and you're just like, huh, this is just average. I want to move on to another fucking software. So I've got way too many software. Luckily, some of them intertwine. Some of them, I just have the free version, just then I can play around with it. But I just like hopping and jumping before I get too ingrained. I don't like focusing too much, because I'm either gonna like hard focus something and I'll just never stop and I'll get good at it, and it'll be like I'll be maybe amazing with it if I'm lucky, but then also no lifing that gaming. What was that, you know? I mean, there was a point with Geogen, that last program, where I was starting to just exponentially get better, which arguably I should on a technical level. Looking at statistics on YouTube, because I upload a lot of my stuff to YouTube, of course, that's where I get a lot of my views as well. So, but that's kind of, I have a decent bit of understanding in Geogen, as these are all very new software. Like this one is alpha test, right? They've been working on this for maybe like a year and a half, from what I understand. Geogen only just recently, as of the earlier this year, maybe like the third half of this year, the first third, I mean, Jesus, the third half, what am I talking about? The first third of the year is about maybe when Geogen 1.0 came out. So at least I'm jumping onto all these things really early, and you know, these programs are getting used in like pretty big film, like in the film industry. A lot of these are being used in games, so there's a lot of pretty big stuff that these are getting used in. I think League of Legends uses Geogen for cinematics. I don't know, I don't watch League stuff though. Oh, I do know a bit about League, but not enough. One thing I haven't explored though at all would be these detailed planets, which is so cool. So this is, see, yeah, I've kind of gone on a bit of a rant earlier. Just to summarize, I think the software is really awesome, but depending on the price, I don't know if it would be worth it or not. As I have a lot of software for terrains. I got Gaia, which I'm going to be purchasing for like 99 USD, which is really cheap for what it is. Just opening that up briefly. And that is really awesome. Because it's a 2.0, so I'll get both 1.0 and 2.0, whereas before I wouldn't. This is something I worked on, albeit mostly from a tutorial, so I'm not going to take all credit from this, but I used the tutorial as a basis and worked off that. But, I mean, it's obviously different though, but, yeah. So this software I think is better for the money, depending on how much Geogen will cost, which is this one. But there are two other software that are really capable, I guess, of doing planets, and that's Blender, as I really shouldn't just keep randomly opening all these different things for reference, but I mean, it's interesting if you're interested in this sort of stuff. Moon test. I mean, I guess for example, this, right, was rendered in Blend. This was made and rendered in Blender. It's super simple. There's like 4 node setup, which is why I sometimes go, I love this. This is so capable, but also 4 nodes, dude. 4 nodes to get this, and this is like it works a little bit different. So this doesn't have infinite resolution. It's got high resolution, but it's not infinite. Whereas the way that Blender works is you can't it doesn't, yeah, I only got some experience in Blender. Oh, if you know Blender node work, then it's just, I think, 2 Musgrave textures, like nodes, I mean. And if you know that stuff, it's just those don't export as maps. It only works in the program, so that's how it can get infinite scaling. But this is still really good. Like, jeez. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just gotta marvel at what they've done with this. This is really simple. What the world? So the weather is adding, I'm just trying to figure out, I'm guessing it's adding this aspect to it. But they've done a really good job with this, might I say. Whoa, that's sick. So there are actual rocks. Micro craters. They've done a really good job with this, but they've just got a heap. That's with atmosphere. Oh, atmosphere makes it. Well, that's pretty sick. This is not realistic by any means, but yeah. This gives me very Van Gogh vibes. If it's, yeah, which is pretty cool. It's just because of the warpage, really. But ignore how many tabs I have open. I really need to clean that. Yeah, I run into PC problems. I wonder what's causing the PC problems, you know? That's insane. It's running 14. Yeah, it takes a minute though. The thing I don't like is coloring of the atmosphere. It's done through changing whether the scatters, which I don't think is very intuitive. But like, it makes sense. It's just not intuitive. But how are you doing, Templeton? Don't know if I asked. Usually pretty quick with it, but it's the ozone. Which is mainly just that aspect. Looks like it's pulling it. It's got really weird shadows. I mean, this stone thing kills it too badly. path tracing. One thing I do like doing when it comes to background is they have a lot of bright stars. They like the bright stars in these, but for me, I don't like a lot of these bright stars. It's just insane what they've done. And let's play around, right? I'm just gonna do my webcam here, so I mean I don't need to. Hello. Oh, hides it, so of course it does. Wait, let me just put on my other screen in. And that's my webcam, really. That's pretty sick. To be honest, I like the motivation to say, to be honest, any tips on how to focus on the boring stuff? Yes. I gotta be honest, that is a very good question you ask, because everybody will run into that, and it's kind of a tricky one. Now, I run into that especially because I have to do 2D drawings, you know, like traditional pencil and paper, you know? Which is, I despise that, I do. I'm not 2D. Anything 2D related is, I'm like, please no. So, for me, I think it really depends. If you're doing something that's applicable, so if you're working on animations, but it's like just another, yeah. If you're working on, like, you know, let's just say another walking animation, right? Something you'll do often is walking animations, right? That's one of the most needed, I guess, animation sequences, I guess. Or maybe it'll be, you know, you've got to start new stuff and you're working on squashing and stretching. As generally, I was always taught, because I've done animation before, decent, but I've got 2 diplomas in animation. Well, I got one in animation, one in 3D production, but part of that was animation. They always teach you squash and stretch for my my course anyway. And it's always the same. But I think for me, the way I wrap it around my head, there's no clear-cut answer that's gonna make you go bam, you know what I mean? But for me, what helped me is, am I able to make this how do I want to word this? How is this going to improve me and my skills? So one thing that we've had to do, I'll give a pretty good example here, for me anyway, is, let me see if I can find myself. If I actually search up, station.com. Let's see if that's still linked. Yes, it is. Sweet, sorry, I had this on this one. We had to make low poly models. Now, how do I go from making, you know, a high poly? Now, this isn't perfect, right? I'm not, you know, the world's greatest. I'm still learning, right? But how do I go from a really high poly, you know, high detail using, you know, the industry standard software, so that being Substance Paint, to, you know, I did use Blender for this. No, I used Maya, actually. This was all Maya, really. And this was originally, so this was a remake. So how do I go from that to making something really, you know, this is extremely low poly. This could run on, you know, a Raspberry Pi, or, like, you know, my bloody fingernail would run it, you know what I mean? How do I go from something like that? Now, to me, this is really boring, right? You're going from making something that's, like, exactly what you'd want to make. You think of it, you're making it, you know? As much detail, it looks super realistic. I couldn't use that, so you got to make something low poly, and it's really boring because you're going back to the basics. Now, not necessarily are you referring to going back to the basics, but for me, I'm going back to the basics because it's extremely boring. And this is an example of how I found this entertaining. How can you make something super basic look as good as it can be? And, you know, for me, that was like the first big driving factor for it. Do these look perfect? No. Could I have made them better? Yeah. Would I have needed more time? Yes. Okay. We were working with 500 tries, which is maybe, I don't know, if depending on how much 3D modeling you've done, that might be an arbitrary random number that means nothing to you. But if you've done a bit, that might, click and you might know what I'm talking about. If you do know what I'm talking about, 500 tries is extremely small. Um, but it's an extremely low amount. And then we're also working with extremely small maps. There are only 256 maps. Whereas, bear in mind, most games these days are working with 4K maps. So that kind of puts things in perspective there. Um, so yeah. Um, Actually, this wasn't even 256. This was 128 by 128. Okay. So I kind of put it together to be 256, but in reality, it's 128 by 128. So it's not even a 256 map. So, regardless of that, to me, I think if you struggle with it, then it means you're not capable, right? I'm not saying that that's your issue, but I look at it as like, as long as I can always go back, right, to the roots of making something small and easy. This was difficult because I'm having to make something look as good as I can while also fundamentally looking bad because of its low poly nature. Um, and to me, that's a struggle. And then you're like, wow, I really want to make this because it's looking bad. If you're working with, oh, what's a good example here in terms of animation? I mean, I find it really, and a walk animation is something that I'm just going to go back to, I guess. Walk animations are from a basic level pretty simple, but how can you give the walk animation character? You know what I mean? Can you apply character to it? Can you improve the, I don't know, the follow through and all the things? Can you maybe cartoonify it with that sort of aspect? Maybe you need to make it more realistic. Depends. I mean, I'm not very good at animation, but this was an animation, a facial animation that I was working on when we were doing facial studies. It's not great, but um, that part's terrible. But when we're studying that, it's not necessarily overly fun, and I'm just having a lot of trouble. But then you just like you got to add a lot of the fine-tuned details. Like there's a lot of details going into these eyes. I spent most of my time working on these eyes. Like for example, you're doing stuff like, the blink going down is 1 frame, 2 frames going upwards, or I think I did 2 and 4. You always want to do in those sorts of, from what I've learned, 2 and 4, or 1 and 2, or 3 and 6. Those sorts of, I don't know what is the word, like, I guess numbers. I guess. So how can you? Yeah, you just want to be able to make it as good as you can, and then that sort of gets it going, brain-wise for me. Um, the other thing would be, will this improve you as an animator? To me, so like every model I make, every animation you make, will always fundamentally make you better at what you do, right? Maybe you don't learn something, but maybe you do learn something that you didn't know before. I definitely learned things that I didn't know before when making this, even though it's extremely basic. Um, and same with my Japanese shrine. We weren't working with much for this either. Um, and this, like, I had to learn. I learned so much what I could do, what I couldn't do. How managing time and stuff like that. It's really just a case of trying to see what you can take from it. You know what I mean? Are there aspects that you like after working on it go, oh, I really need to improve in this aspect. As I really struggle with fine tuning, for example, the feet and walk animations, or walk cycles, I should say, or in terms of my eyes, my eye blinks don't look realistic. They look very forced, or in facial studies, or um, stuff like that, or like my eyes aren't moving quick enough and stuff like that, or maybe you just got to focus on the small details. Like for example, when you blink, your eyes go upwards, right? So in facial animation, make sure that slightly, just a little bit before you blink, just adding that small detail, having the eyes go up and then back down again while you do it. And when you blink often when your eyes move. So, and this is an often case. So as you can see, I put a lot of detail into when you go. Seeing the work as a self-improvement, not only as a task. Yeah, that's 100% what I mean. Yeah, just because you'll get lots of this, right? And sometimes the big thing that we find in this industry, right, is you feel like you're kind of stagnant, right? Your abilities are stagnant. You are not improving. You look at, Johnny. Johnny's extremely good. He's been, learning animation for half the amount of time you have, yet he's double as good as you. Am I really going to be able to get into the industry when I have to compete with Johnny? Yes, we all can, okay? Because we are who we are and we have our knowledge, and just because Johnny's extremely good at this aspect doesn't mean he's as good as you in other aspects. So it's really, there's a lot of motivation is something important, and you should never dwell on the small things, because if you dwell on the small things, it will just drag you down. I was on Reddit one day looking at other people's Blender work, and this guy, he was spent a year learning, spending like 8 hours a day learning Blender, and then he got really good and he got hired by some really big industry. And I was looking back at him now, I think he is some lead at some pretty big place. I'm just like, geez, homie just like zoomed up, and that's kind of like it's also it's admiring. It's admirable how well he's done for such a short amount of stuff. Then there's me, who's been doing this sort of stuff for maybe 3-4 years by now, and I'm nowhere near his quality. But it's also like, there'll be things that he can't do that I can do, and there'll be things that you can do that he can't do. He focuses a lot on 3D modeling, but maybe you excel in a lot of other stuff, especially your animations. So I think the way that I kind of like to look at things is, everything you do will build you up as you build your skills up, I guess you could say. And you should always be exploring new things. Watch tutorials, watch videos, because there's going to be things that those tutorials will show you that you didn't know. I always watch tutorials from time to time, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't know that that was a thing in Blender. Or, I'll be scrolling through tutorials and I stumble across, for example, Mandelbulb 3D, and I just go, I'm just going to pump out like a week of just learning this program and then see what we can make in terms of Mandelbulbs. And I made this all within like a couple of days. Oh, honestly, these were about 3 days learning the software, and then moving to a new computer sort of changed how the software worked and how I had it all set up, and I kind of lost all that. But regardless, so my thing that I would recommend is go out of your comfort zone for some things, especially for personal projects. But I'll tell you now, I feel the same. When I'm like constantly making 3D models, I get home and I'm just like, I do not want to do 3D models. I just want to play games, dude. And then, I'll be doing, I don't know, what else, VFX, I'll be making a game. Currently, we're making a game. I'm just like, oh, I got some cool game ideas that I want to work on. And then it's like, no, I don't want to work on those anymore, because it just feels like a job. It just feels like you're just doing the same old, same old. But the way I do save myself from that pain is I try to switch it up. So while I'm doing modeling, I have been doing, terrains, right, as of recently. While I was doing drawing, right, the first half of this year was all 2D stuff, which was painful as I was working on 3D models. So the way I look at it is, while you're feeling your downtime in animation through your courses and job or whatever, use that time, your spare time that you have that isn't going to impact your time in class and stuff or at your job, and learn a different program, learn a different technique. I will sometimes go out and maybe focus a bit on animation, or terrains or things that will just further boost your stuff, right? When you want to show off your work, right? You can have some really awesome animation, but imagine that animation with a really awesome background. Imagine that animation with really good like composition and lighting. Imagine that animation with really good assets. So sort of see what I mean? So developing these skills on the side will just further develop your projects that you could be working in general. So when I'm making a game, now I can use these other assets, well, not other assets, these other software that I've been developing my knowledge with over the past couple of years, and I can just use those, and it just brings it over the top. Like there's a couple assessments where I was never going to do it anywhere near as good if I didn't have assets like that I'd been working on. Some of these things are just coming in pretty clutch for me, so it's something that I would just recommend. And that's kind of like the few things that kind of helps me continue. But it's never gonna be easy, but that's what helps me. Let's see. Moon. I don't know if it's gonna be here, but Moon 2. This was a moon that I was working on for an interactive game. 2018. So move to the side because it's got some personal information. Which I don't know if this will load because this is the wrong version. Maybe it is. Oh, it's not gonna load, is it? It's a different version. It's actually good advice, thank you. No, that's all good. It's a different version of World Creator. Yeah, no, I always like seeing other people's... The way other people, what's the word? Work shit out in their head, and kind of taking their advice for how they work on their things, especially people that are quite different in terms of how they do their stuff. Like speaking to, recently I've been talking to somebody who does like narration, not the narrative and the more written side of games. It's interesting to see their perspective and their thoughts on some of these things. So this was something that I was working on, and like I just had this in the background, right? On the ground, I guess. And it was like a spaceship going over a planet, and I just had this on the ground. And like, what was I gonna do? I was gonna have to spend so long trying to just make some stupid ground that was gonna look dog crap because we're using, default Unreal Engine fucking shit. So it just comes in clutch being able to access. This was my R&D, which is a little bit different. I didn't like this as much. It felt too big, which it is. So it's one of those things where things just sometimes come in pretty helpful. But yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, I just speak to a lot of people. I try to speak to a lot of these different individuals. They have different mindsets and different focuses, but often still in the industry, and it's really interesting because it's hard to speak to people outside of the industry in relation to the industry, and because you'll be like speaking to people and you'll be like, what do you like about this game, what do you dislike, and it's like, oh, the development this game is like terrible, why, they are so incompetent, and it's like, no, the developers are not incompetent. It'll often just be the management will often be terrible. I mean, you're not going to get a job in the industry if you're bad. Albeit bad is pretty, take it or leave it. You don't, what I call bad could be different to what you call bad, and vice versa. So people expect different things, but there are some cases where it's like some things are just pretty bad. The old what was that game? King Kong that just got released. What are these games? That looks inappropriate games. King Kong Skull Island game. I don't know if it's on Steam, I guess not, but like no tense, but a 2023 game coming out looking like this. Like the Golem game. Golem game wasn't... It was just a fundamentally bad game, but I don't think the developers of it are necessarily bad. Well, this one, I sort of don't know. Just because there's so many fundamental issues with this. That I'm just like... Is this just... the people being bad, or is it... Like, I don't know how you pump something out like that looks like this when, you know, Avatar... I mean, Avatar's not a game, but, you know, you have games that came out bloody, you know... I would argue fucking The Witcher 2 looks better than that, and that was an old game, which... Witcher 2. This game came out fucking... Yeah, 2011, I would argue some aspects of this look fucking better, so... I mean, like, the detail on these characters look fucking better, if you ask me. I don't know, sometimes I'm like, Oh, what's this? Besides, I only began studying half a year ago, so I'm nowhere near the juicy stuff like actual animation, 3D modeling, etc. On research methods and all the basic stuff. No, that's, fair enough. Key thing to note, there's always more information to gather in that regard, so I think we're all learning, no matter how long we've been working on stuff, so that's fair enough. When would you guys be working on full-on animation, 3D modeling, and so forth? That's a... Yeah, but I do know we did spend quite a bit of time doing researching methods and stuff like that. That's just like learning, you know, your animation principles. What else? The animation principles was like the main thing that you spend a lot of time working on. That's what we spent a lot of time. What we'd do is back in my old college, it was like you'd make a blob, right? It would either be 2D animation or 3D, right? We did both. And then you look at an animation principle, and it's like, you know, follow through or exaggeration or extension, right? And it's like, how can you apply this animation principle to this blob? Because a blob's, you know, just basic. There's not much to a blob, but because of that, you can make it quite expressive, and that's what we did. I don't think I have too much of my files back then, and even if I did, they would look probably terrible. A lot of this I actually need to remove because a lot of this isn't great. Like this stuff, I keep this for personal reasons, but a lot of this stuff's pretty terrible in comparison to a lot of my newer stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, this is significantly better than a lot of that newer stuff, and so is this. So I take a look at it as for me, if I was in your position and I was just, you know, really looking forward to animation and stuff like that, but it's just like, oh, it's so much boring. It's like we're constantly learning the ins and outs of these, you know, basics and the you know, the research behind all this. I would always look at it like, but how well do you know and understand these techniques, really? Like, I understand basic animation principles to a relatively decent level, I guess. Like, I did study it for quite a bit in college, so it's not like, I would say it's like above like the person who hasn't spent any time learning it, but I'm not overly great, and it wasn't even my focus anyway. And this would be better if my friend was online, because she's doing a Holo's degree in animation, so, but she's currently rigging a character, so but I would kind of look at it like, how well you know what I'd do? If you got free time outside of, you know, class, and you just want to spend a bit of time, watch something like animation is really good in terms of like 2D animation. So something like Into the Spider-Verse or something like that. I don't know if those things are how accessible those movies are, but looking at stuff like that and just breaking it down, like a lot of the character stuff. There's so much. I think Into the Spider-Verse, and I haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, but those are really good movies in terms of animation principles, as those ones were like they bring back 2D animation when a lot of those, Disney, Pixar, so forth, took that all away, and they moved more towards 3D. So I'd look at sort of stuff that is successful nowadays and break it down. What makes this good? What's good about this, animation breakdown? Can I spot the principles? Look at a 30-second clip of it. What principle is happening in each part? Breaking down. That's kind of boring, I gotta admit. And I understand if you're like, I don't know, it's kind of boring. Oh, I don't know if I can be bothered. But that would like significantly develop it. Because looking at what people do good and breaking down what people do good, like for me as a game dev, albeit primarily 3D model in regards to game dev, like I will play a game, right? And I will let me check, I think it was like a half of the whole series. Oh no. Sounds painful. But yeah, for me I always play games, and because I'm making games myself, so I sort of, you gotta get a critical mind. And I'll play games and I'll go, what are these games doing good? What makes them successful? What are they doing bad? And how could they improve them? What aspects could be improved? And then obviously some things will be obvious, but some things are not so obvious. And it's always looking at how things are made. Like, you play a lot of games and you're just like, wow, these things are really low poly and really not that hard to make, but they've just done a very good job because the atmosphere just is amazing of it. This rigging experience is a roller coaster of emotion. That's about how rigging goes for me. Just of interest, Amy, do you have any tips and recommendations when it comes to animation? I have this guy Templeton. I don't know how long you've been here, but they are studying animation. So I was just wondering if you had any tips that you recommend. If you have a minute, all good. If not, this is so interesting seeing how they've made this. Find out weather. Oh, it's like a double weather. Oh, okay, so that's kind of to place most of the rocks there. Because otherwise if you went, you don't really see them, but you can still see the going like that. I would have thought it'd be a bit more. A lot of animation, but what part of animation? Anything that you think is, I guess, arguably the most important. Maybe not the most important, but just if you have anything off the top of your head. I'd always say, in terms of 3D modeling, are you overthinking it? Are you adding more geometry where geometry isn't needed? I say that in relation to some of the things I've been seeing coming out of your teammates and people from UB. And myself back at when I was at UB. There was a lot of stuff there that I'm just like, you're making 3,000, 30, 50, 100,000 models, right? And I'm just looking back at it and going, we never, like, with good topology, you can make it look just as good. Some people do some insane stuff with topology. Sorry. So, very interested in breaking this down. This is extremely basic, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move this to a different. What I enjoy doing. This might help you, Temple. I don't know. I don't know if this will help you as much as it helps me because it's not as applicable. Because animation is all about conveying a story, or animation is expressing actions without words. It can be the most subtle or the most exaggerated animation ever, but does it ever have purpose? It's the main reason for it. That's a very good point you bring up, Amy. That's a wise words you have there. Are you conveying it well? So nice. What I'm going to be doing right is a lot about emotion. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to remake this using the exact same nodes. What it's going to do is help see how everything develops. It's really cool to animate fight scenes. Some fight scenes look fucking insane, honestly. Let's start from the start, really. This is way bright. Is there a way to turn down the brightness, though? Here we go. That makes sense, yeah. That's good. That's so good. Anything to make other people, you know, better is always nice because it's a tricky industry, so good to help. But one thing that I enjoy doing, I don't know how applicable it would be for you, is what I like to do for this, right, is when I'm trying to learn stuff, is break down something that's already been made. So for me, I looked at the tutorial, not the tutorial, the preset. I just took a picture of nodes, which isn't going to be as applicable. I'll bring it back to animation. And then I'm just going to be reapplying all the nodes in the same order, and then just playing around with it, seeing how it sort of builds itself out, because that helps me, you know, mentally see, oh, okay, so that does that. Oh, okay, that's used there. So if you can, download animations. I don't know if Sketchfab has animations, but you can look through other people's animations for that you can download. I don't know, maybe Turbo Squid might have some stuff. I'm not sure what has animations, but if you can download other people's animations, you know, look at where they've keyframed things, and then, you know, try to replicate how they've made it. And if you can replicate it, then that's going to allow you to sort of see how they've done it. This is very good if it's somebody who knows what they're doing, less helpful if they are somebody random that is still learning as well. But that's how I exponentially upgrade my knowledge with things, because I just go into the mindset of somebody who's good at life as well. Understand how weight works. Yes, weight's fucking important. Make sure shit's not Basically just changes that. Tasers how much? I guess it's just the detail mainly. Not the detail, but how many. I don't really know the word actually. How many times it's being reapplied. Let's see if we can work very. Krillin gives a really good look. Voronoi also looks sick. Cinder polka dots looks very, maybe not my cup of tea so much. But thanks for talking advice. I gotta get some food. Yeah, you have a good one, Chief, and thank you for popping by. Hopefully that was pretty helpful for you. Because it's always good to be able to, you know, reuse that. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one. Catch you maybe next time. See you. How's this? Oh, that's interesting. Whoa. That could get some really interesting looks. Harlan. Interesting. Oh, that's sick. That's already looking really good. Voronoi. Shit. I'm mad. No. You hurt me. That's sick. I say you hurt me, but you're the one fucking having to deal with it. Is it really just not going that good? Doesn't look very natural to me. Yeah, Toby. I'm sorry. I cried a bit because I couldn't find the father. No, Amy, don't cry. Oh my golly. Maybe just get out of that. It's gonna be like a really small asteroid moon. Sort of. Planet warped there. You like him? What is this? Whoa, no way. Sorry, we have just stumbled on something that's cool. I wish I could turn down that sun, which I probably can actually. It's not really realistic. Oh, actually fun now just because I don't have much going on. We're remarching then. Shit, what the hell? Sheesh. I was trying to go for like a sort of like almost asteroidy moon. I'm just gonna quickly go to the bathroom. I said I was gonna play some games today, but I didn't. But I didn't. This is why I am most looking forward to what's the software. Can we play something? Oh, now? Or do you want to get your mind off some stuff? I'll refill my drink bottle in a minute because the shit's running low. My drink bottle. Making sure I'm free on Saturday. Or Sunday. Oh, it's my big day indeed. I think at 2 I'm having a birthday party or something. But on Sunday, everyone's leaving as per the usual, I guess. So, we can hang out. You can come around on Sunday. I don't know if you'd want to come around on Saturday though. Up to you. I'm probably free mostly as well. But we can do some we'll do some mad games. I'm probably gonna keep my weekend mostly free, so I'm probably good to do literally anything throughout most of the day outside of when people are coming around. Simply because I can't get out of that, but I can get out of all my assessments and stuff because I don't know if I've shown you the most up to date, but I don't know if I don't think you were here, Amy, but I was messing around in Maya and is it stream still running? Everything says it's still. Kilobyte. Why does it say no connection? I'm guessing that was maintenance. No, I don't know. It just randomly dropped me. There's a maintenance. drop. Oh, okay. So there's always a drop on Tuesday. Sweet. I don't know what that was. Just the only issue is because I have OBS through Steam, so I don't want when I go offline that it to impact my stream or anything. But I think it's fine. But there's always a drop on Tuesday. Always this exact time. Because Ruben and I will always be minding our own business, getting bored in class, right? So you're hopping onto Steam. It's like, oh, let's look at this. And then it's like, wait, is your Steam working? Is your profile working? Is your activity feed working? Is your store page working? Both not working? Okay, let's look onto SteamDB or Steam Stats, I should say. And then, video playing. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Luckily it's quiet. So... So, yeah. It's one of those things where slightly annoying. I was get a bit worried about that. Anyway, so I was minding my own business, and Maya making my character. Anyway, Maya randomly crashed. Whole PC crashed. Like, fully, you know, off, right? Back on again. Try opening Maya. Every single time. Nothing, right? We're just getting code like 0000005, whatever, account violation or something, access violation or something. No clue what it was. Anyway, I was stressing because I couldn't open. I tried 2024, I tried 2023, I reinstalled it, I deleted the preferences. Albeit that wouldn't have done anything because I tried both different things. I did everything, dude. I was like, oh! This was during class. Good thing I wasn't paying attention in class. Because I decided we were doing close and how to do close, but I sort of understood that as I had technically already done that with my character anyway, or the process that one of the processes you'd go by. So I was sort of like half paying attention to what he was saying, but I wasn't actually. I was just working my character just to get him mostly finished, which I've mostly done. And then, yeah, so that happened. Another reboot of the PC seemed to fix it, so it took like 2 reboots for it to fix itself. So fingers crossed that nothing breaks itself. But I was getting worried because a lot of the things that people are saying that causes that issue is very not good. You know, there's my character. There's a couple like shader issues, but you know, there's no real good way to fix them without adding a shit ton of geometry. These are mostly caused by, I think, them being tries. One thing I could try and do, see if this does something. I go target weld and just target weld it there. Target weld it there. It's looking good, thank you, thank you. That looks better. And the shading is my issue. Target weld, target weld. One thing I haven't tried in a minute, so save that. Mesh, cleanup, select. Oh yes, because everything's been reset, so good thing I'm doing that. Faces with more than four sides, so that's n-gons. Non-manifold is very important. Select. So I always do this. Faces with more than 4 and non-manifold is important. And we have a singular one. That's very important. Ruben and I love this process, so. What it generally is, if you go vertex face, generally it means it's a random face. Oops. So if I rerun that, clean up. And as you will be able to see, it's just a random fucking thing in the middle of nowhere. The thing is, it acts fine, right? So I guess first thing I want to do is mesh. delete the vertex. Can I just take a screenshot first? Delete vertex. And then you gotta add them all back. That's just stupid. What the fuck is that? Currently, I'm not joking. Oh, I'm guessing that's something that's hidden on the character. Sort of the geometry being fucked. Did that fix that? Clean up. I'm gonna have to bring this back, but delete. It's just a case of is that? Let's see if we're down to 1. Or if that's introduced more. Some made it worse, hasn't it? She's always so fucking frustrating. Anyway, bring that out similar to what it was before. Same with this. Can't entirely fucking remember, to be honest, but it's just gonna be one of those things, I guess. You're not gonna see it. Mesh. Clean up. It's really just gonna be one of these ones. Why is that joined? That's not meant to be like that, actually. I'm gonna delete. Let me go. Multi-cut. Add a dingus. Add a. Dang, this is like fucked, but beyond. This is what we call using Maya. Maya adds random shit to random places because it wants to be a dickhead. Target world. I'm gonna rebuild this because I didn't like it as is. This is gonna need to be. Maybe fixed it. And then. Fuck me. This is really frustrating. Yeah. Just. Yeah, I got a lot of shit in the way. Bridge. Lambert. That's gonna be. meant to be standard. Your standard surface is the one. Ugh. Mesh, soften. This is what is like 3D modeling, and this is what happens. So if you're not, this is the one downside to making low poly things, is you have to do shit like target welding, which fucks things up at major time. Mesh, clean up, and it's still fucking there. Delete. See. Mesh. Clean up. I got rid of that one easy. Save this increment. This one will be easy as well. Assuming it doesn't fuck anything else up. Bam, add that. That. And I can ignore. That's actually good. As is. This isn't going to be exactly symmetrical anymore, but you're not going to fucking notice this, and I don't care. Clean up, and it's just going to be that. Sweet. I see. Guessing that's just because this isn't softened. Or is it not? Weird. Regardless. I delete that. Right. Oh yeah. Let me take a screen grab. I'm gonna do this like this. It's got a bit better to go by. So the one that's fucked is this, which doesn't delete itself. Add. What do you got there? Goes here and there. Which is actually a quad. Go there. And the other side is that goes there. That's still a try, but we deal with it. Just about repositioning shit. That's probably fine anyway. So, and then place. That's fine. That's gonna be fine. Thinking if we, that would just cause more issues anyway, so. Oh! What is going on? Not sure what that is, but Sweet. Oh, you're gonna be fucking, aren't you? Please. There we go. There we go, we're back in the same situation. Oh, you're joking, dude. I don't, ooh. This is, really bad. A tricky one. You can auto clean it up, but it causes more issues down the road, and I don't. Because I'm sending this to other people, I don't want to fuck other people over by having major issues with my mesh. The other way it fixes itself is setting it to be like a separate face outside of the mesh. Sorry, I probably won't play games tonight though. I might end stream very soon though. Because I'm a bit EP from last night. And I gotta wake up early-ish. Well, I know I'm gonna have to start waking up early because fucking it's gonna be my birthday and my parents are gonna be like, wake up in the morning at fucking 7 o'clock. But no, that's my character. Ugh, now less fucked. Ruben had a couple issues with his face, but I might be able to play one match, but maybe I'll do it after stream because I will not be able to keep the brain going. But yeah, so Ruben had a couple issues with his face, but his fixes only took like I think 2 attempts really, whereas that was like 6 fucking attempts honestly. So, not saying Ruben's one was any nicer, but fuck me, I wish I had the easy one like he did. Alright. I think I'm gonna end stream. Tomorrow I might stream. I don't know about Cloudpunk, but True Cloudpunk, that was fun. But I was gonna stream the Bloodline. Not obviously streaming it today, but when did this come out? Oh, very not long ago. About like Too much math. 13 days. Okay, it's not long. Okay. Oh, you can stream now. Oh shit. Fuck! Since when did this change? I was listening to the Cyberpunk score and it changed to fucking random music. That was not Cyberpunk music. Which means this video might be fucking copyrighted. It's just gonna piss me off. I'll get pissed. Gonna piss me off, Amy. Anyway, thank you guys all for watching. Been interesting chatting to some of you guys. Been interesting seeing you. Thank you guys all for popping by though. Yeah, that was Geogen. We'll see even if I was supposed to or allowed to stream that, or if I get told, Toby, no. Yes. Yes. Huh. Yeah, don't mess with me. But no. Thank you guys all for watching. We'll see tomorrow. I almost wasn't going to be able to stream tomorrow, but I will be able to, so yeah. Assuming all goes well. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Maybe I'll bring some more interesting news. Maybe I'll work on my game as well tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, catch y'all. See y'all. Bye.